What's going on,
Yo,
y'all?
what's good,
Welcome to
everybody?
another episode of Save the Date. I'm one of your hosts, Heath,
What's good, everybody? I'm your other host, Jamie.
and we're ready to get into another episode. Before we do, little housekeeping at Save the Date Now, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. If you guys have not checked out our TikTok recently, it's bumping and grinding right now.
Mm,
Moving and grooving. We are posting content left and right, direct to social media content, which is just specific for TikTok, content specific for TikTok. And then we're posting clips from the episode so you can see our lovely faces as we wax poetical about love, togetherness, and right now, our current topic, overgiving.
there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah. So, title of today's episode is Loving Deeply Without Losing Yourself. And we are still on our topic of overgiving. And what we want to talk about today is answering and addressing the question, how do you stay warm, open, and loving without overgiving, without overextending?
Mm,
Because what typically happens is overgiving leads to burnout, exhaustion. Then there's a collapse or a silent period where maybe you're embittered, angry, vengeful. Then the door opens and you meet somebody, you start overgiving, and the cycle starts all over again. It was like we said in our previous episode, this often leads to cycles of rejection and abandonment that ultimately opens the door for long-term mental health issues. And we are not clinicians, so we won't be exploring that process in depth, nor the mental health issues that emerge. But we really want to get into myth busting. Well, this idea that you're stuck between two poles. On one pole, you say to yourself, if I don't give, I'll lose them. If I don't constantly overextend myself and shower them with the best and brightest of who I am, seeking to anticipate their needs, seeking to then serve those needs, and of course, fulfill those needs. If I don't do that on a constant basis, almost with this sense of urgency, haste, almost like an anxious or anxiety based attempt to let someone know, please like me, please love me. I'm worth it. I'm worth your time. I'm worth your energy. If we don't do that, then you're going to lose that person. On the other hand, you say, if I pull back, I'm being cold. So you're stuck between those two poles. And what happens is you never gain any true satisfaction because you are negotiating from extremes. You're either on the extreme of pulling back and remaining cold, which we know that doesn't help anyone to be cold and aloof and callous. But if I don't give, I'll lose them. But then you end up overgiving and constantly going out of your way to show somebody I'm worth it. Well, the problem with that is that you're putting your worth in someone's hands. And many of us will put our worth in someone else's hands without any formation of a bond or a cushion of a connection. And this is where a lot of the problems start to emerge for us because we are constantly dissatisfied, disgruntled, and feeling rejected.
yeah, and that's where the cost of overgiving comes in. That's when people start feeling that emotional burnout, feeling like they've been on the treadmill or the hamster wheel with someone. Yeah, man, I think it's a matter of going through that, you know, that process,
Mm-hmm.
feeling that burnout. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging in that, looking in the mirror and saying, "Yo, listen, man, I've been acknowledging what you're doing. I've been giving a lot. I've been going in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? I've been showing up in this way. And I think it'll eventually lead to someone staying warm or not getting cold. But you got to go through it. You got to name those things for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I want to raise an issue you surfaced about a year and a half or maybe a year ago to me, where we were talking about consistency and my issue with being consistent. And we weren't just talking about the matters of my heart. We were just talking about my life and how I have a tendency to overgive in the sense that I overcommit to interests, hobbies, and obligations that I truly want to fulfill and excel at. But what happens is I overcommit. I go beyond my capacity. I can do it for a little bit. Then what happens is I start to reach capacity issues because things change, schedules collapse. You have to rearrange, but there's no room to rearrange. I'm at capacity. So then there's a total implosion of my schedule, total implosion of my interest, and a dissipation of my energy. And then There's burnout where I say, I don't understand why I can't sustain the things that interest me or the obligations that I've made. I burn out. I don't want to do anything else. I go dormant. I become embittered. I become vengeful. I do the blame game. Normally, with me, I do it on myself, self abuse. And then when I get out of that haze, I say, oh, there's some obligations. There's some work I can put in because I'm work oriented and Jamie knows this about me. I have a deference for action. And then the cycle starts all over again. I commit, I commit, I commit. I'm overcommitted. I'm overgiving. And here we go again. So I've been chewing on that for the last year. And I think this is important for everyone to realize some of this work will take a while for you to digest. I've been sitting on what Jay said for about 12 months now. I ran it by another friend who added another layer to it because he's known me for about as long as Jay has. And it's given me the fuel I need to really reevaluate myself and ask, how can I make better decisions for myself to A, maintain my obligations in a sustainable manner, and B, scrutinize the obligations that come my way that I may be interested in taking on. But I'm already close to capacity. I got to leave some cushion for wiggle room for adjustments and pivots. And that's the true definition of what it means to excel. But when it comes to matters of the heart, we do the same thing. Normally, we're doing it, though, out of a sense of low self esteem and please like me, please choose me, please pick me. I'm worth it. And again, as I said in the opening, when you're putting your worth on someone else, you are setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah. Can I touch on something you just raised real quickly?
Sure.
You said you do the self abuse first. Do you ever feel like that trickles down to people in your life when you do that?
Well, of course it does, but not directly. It's indirect. Because ultimately, once you start self abusing, you get depressed, you have all the symptoms of someone who's being abused by an external force. But now, when these people are going to you to fulfill your obligations, to honor your commitment, you're despondent, you're dejected, and you're projecting that energy out to the people around you, your community, and also to the commitments and obligations you need to fulfill. So if you've committed to show up every Saturday at the soup kitchen, and now you don't know if you can keep that commitment because you've overcommitted also on Saturdays to other obligations. Now you're showing up to the soup kitchen, and while you're not being rude in your service or being rude to the volunteer staff, you're not bringing your best self, your best creative self to that endeavor. And that just may manifest in different ways. Maybe you're not thinking creative about how to use the volunteer staff. Maybe you're not as happy or glad handing as you could be to the people that you're serving in the soup kitchen. There are just slights that happen that may reduce your productivity by 10%, 15%, 50%. It all depends on who you are and how it's manifesting. But ultimately, it's not a direct one-on-one, I'm going to now challenge you and get on you the way maybe someone would if they're attacking someone else and taking out their anger on someone else. It's just people now are dealing with a non-productive, below commitment standard level person. And that
Yeah.
has its own impact. Your self-abuse does harm others. It just doesn't harm others directly.
I was asking because when you said it, it made me think about something I heard from a famous mega church pastor. We can keep his name. Who
Drewski?
shall not be named. No, it's not Drewski. But he was talking about in his 30 plus years of counseling couples, he was like in situations of like domestic violence and abuse. When he counsels the men, he recognizes that they're acting out on their woman how they feel about themselves. So that the abusive language that they talk to themselves inside is coming out to the woman. And he feels
Yeah,
like
projecting.
you ain't nothing and hitting himself for not making the mark or not being the
Mhm,
kind of man he wants to be or whatever. And it gets on her. So that's what it
mhm.
made me think about that when you said it.
Yeah.
That's a hard pivot, but we can get back to
Yeah, no, no,
how
no.
not to get
No,
your
no,
hard
I
hearted.
think this is all connected to how people manifest their problematic behavior, especially when it's problematic to themselves. It is at times easy to see when there's the bully and the bully or the victim It's harder to see that when the bully and the victim share the same space in the mirror.
Mhm.
And it's important for people to name it because what tends to happen is we can become arrogant in how we are exacting on ourselves but kind to others. But again, anytime that energy is being expended, just recognize whether you are doing it to another person or doing it to yourself, your community is taking a hit.
Mhm.
Granted, I can recognize where external forces on a person are definitely, hey, we need to deal with this. An eyes wide open approach and almost, raising your eyebrows like, hey, wait a minute, that's wrong. But you have to name when you are treating yourself wrong as well, when you're abusing yourself, when you're shortcutting yourself, when you are telling yourself no before the world tells you no, and limiting your options and choices for success. And success is not just material success, success could be just an overwhelming feeling of joy, gratitude, and satisfaction.
Yeah. No, it's good to surface that and bring that up because a lot of times, especially with overgiving in the same way, people don't realize that they're in their own way.
Yes.
They're overgiving out of habit. It's just what they know to do, and
Yeah.
this is how they always show up, whether it's for a job interview or whether it's for meeting new friends or doing a new affinity group. Whatever it is like they feel like I have to always put the best foot forward. I always have to, show up in a certain way and have a high standard of things and always be excellent and always be on and things like that.
Hmm.
So they're regimented to overgiving. They have that
Yes.
muscle memory. And a lot
Yes.
of times they don't even realize how it could be a detriment to themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is a good segue because ultimately, when we deal with Save the Day, we're talking about our framework, which is the togetherness framework, which is how it relates to overgiving is you as an individual are empowered. You say that again, you are empowered to choose the partner that works best for you and to be the partner that works best for that other person. And so this is about choice, not pressure. And when you overgive, it's coming from a pressure you feel to prove yourself and to show someone you're worth it. Now, it's one thing to give to show someone, hey, I'm willing to go the distance. I'm willing to partner with you. But notice what we're saying, partnership. That means you're bringing something to the table. You're recognizing your contribution and you're recognizing, honoring their contribution as well, and vice versa. They're recognizing yours.
Yeah. Establishing reciprocity.
Yes, and mutuality. But when you have pressure, you are now trying to work out your issues in this relationship. You're bringing your traumas, your dramas, your low self esteem, your insecurities, and using overgiving as a way to heal them.
Yeah.
And that's not going to work. So, with togetherness framework, we want to emphasize choice over pressure and responsiveness over overfunctioning. This is why we said you should be giving, and we want you to give, and we want you to find a way to A, learn someone's needs, B, fulfill their needs, and then three, learn to
Learn how to
anticipate
anticipate.
their
Hmm.
needs. We
Yeah.
want you to do that, but you want to do that at the right time when you're clear and they're clear about the bond that you want to form and the connection that's being established.
Hmm.
Too early, and you're finding yourself on a hamster wheel of approval. You don't need anyone to approve you. This is one of the things we'll be talking about as we go deep into the year, God willing, in 2026. You deserve to be seen. You have a right to exist, and you don't need to qualify your existence to anyone. Now, you do need to qualify your relationship and show value and exchange contributions and recognize and honor contributions, but your dignity as a human being is already present. And it's up to you and that other person to honor it.
Right.
And so it makes me think about this whole pressure concept within the togetherness framework of saying, choice, not pressure, responsiveness over functioning. We want you to understand, like that line from Beyonce. When I said no, it's never like I said, it's like I never said yes. There are people who will, if you partner with them, are energy vampires.
Suck you dry.
They will suck you dry. They would take advantage of your kindness, your giving, and your heart to deal with the issues that are going on in their body and in their soul. And it's important for you to be able to discern that before you're in too deep. So think about this. If connection only exists when you do extra, it's not a connection.
Yeah, that's
If you
work.
can, yeah, that's work. That's labor. And labor is important because we all give labor, but now you're giving yourself a higher level of labor that is going to be dishonored.
Yeah.
And this is why I said the Beyonce quote. If I said, when I say
When I
no,
say no, it's like I
I
never
never
said
said
yes.
yes,
Yeah.
because
It's
some
a "what
people
have you
are,
done for me lately" type of
yeah,
mentality. You forget
exactly.
all the other times when I showed up, I
Hmm.
acquiesced, I did what you asked, I was submissive, I was compliant,
Kind,
I was kind, I was all of these different things.
accommodating.
All of these other weeks, I showed up for you. But today when I'm saying no, it's like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
And I remember what our friend Chris Burge would say, what kind of friendship do you have if I can't tell you no?
Yeah.
If I can't say not today, I'm tired, I don't feel well. Because a really good friend, and this goes even for our relationships, "Well, you're not feeling well? Do you need anything? How may I help you? How can I serve? How may I assist?
Mhm.
What do you need? No problem. You need to roll off for a little bit? No problem. Let me know when you feel better and we'll connect." As opposed to, I'm going to badger you, I'm going to bully you in order to get what I need out of you when I want it.
This is why it's important, as we're talking about, to be responsive and not just overfunction. You know what I mean? You got to look at what people are doing, not just listen to their words. You got to see what they're doing. As we say, you got to listen to what they say, see what they do, and see how those things align over
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely.
Because the right thing at the wrong time is still the wrong thing.
Yes. I love that phrase. The
Yeah.
right thing at the wrong time is still the wrong thing. Absolutely. For sure. One of the things we've been talking about on TikTok is this idea of the reset concept, pausing. And pausing is going to be one of the biggest strategies, or biggest tactics rather, that you're going to employ in order to identify what you're doing. And most importantly, learn to love yourself. And loving yourself is critical for moving forward in a positive and reassuring and restorative manner. You have to realize that when you're pausing, what you're doing is saying, wait a minute, I'm noticing a pattern here. I'm overgiving, or my mind is racing about overgiving. I just met them 3 weeks ago. Now I'm running to cook dinner. I'm running to pay for X, Y, and Z bill. I'm running to. I'm running to. You see, it's not, hey, what's up? This is great. Oh, you need help? Not a problem. You're not being responsive. You're running to do things with them to overgive so that you can qualify your existence and their life, and more importantly, qualify your worth.
Yeah. You're doing the emotional work of two people.
Yeah. Because you want to feel good inside about yourself. But my challenge to anyone who's listening is, if you're ready to give and you're ready to serve, that qualifies your worth for yourself. Why now do you need to overextend who you are and what you do in order for you to feel empowered and, more importantly, to feel okay with yourself? So pausing is important because it's not punishment. You're not trying to punish the other person. You're not trying to get into a new relationship, a new opportunity to bond and date. And so, well, I'm putting on things on pause. And now you're coming with this malicious, embittered mentality like, nah, I'm on pause. I ain't doing nothing. And I ain't doing it. You don't have to read somebody. You don't have to dress them down. You're pausing so that you can change your patterns and honor yourself. And it's all about self regulation, saying, wait a minute, I have a tendency to do this. Let this play out and just give appropriately to where we are at in the stage in our life cycle in this dating opportunity, hopefully this relationship. And so what you need to do is, you don't have to over explain yourself. Pause that. Pause your access. That may mean for some of us, and this gets a little hairy.
Close them legs.
Mm,
Yeah, it might get it
eh,
might get hairy,
let's
but
keep it real though. It just
that's
may
that's what we
mean
that's what we're shooting at.
pausing from physical intimacy. Push it out 90 days, push it out 180 days.
There is no point and no return on this. It doesn't matter how long y'all have been physically intimate. If for you, you believe that in your body pause is gonna help you, you gotta do that for yourself.
Yeah.
It's like we talked about, it's self-regulation. It's not punishment.
Mhm,
It's just a pause to recognize how you're giving, what's causing you to feel off, what's, triggering your nervous system. Like, wait a minute, like he talked about, I'm running to do this and I'm running. Why am I doing this? It's just a chance to pause, and it's not about punishment because nobody did anything to make you overgive. It's a tendency you have.
mhm,
You lead with that because that's what you know. You're trying to, curate the outcome of keeping a connection alive or making this person like me or keep liking me, like we talked about. It's all kind of couched in the hope of making something happen. But that's not your job alone.
mhm, mhm. It's a shared
It's
responsibility.
a shared responsibility. Yeah. Otherwise, like we talked about, if there's that imbalance there, it becomes work because now you're carrying the load. And the load of a relationship is not a one person job.
Mhm, 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 absolutely. And I think pausing access really is along all levels. Some of us like to do too much too quickly. That's the whole purpose of overgiving. And the access could be physical intimacy, the access could be emotional intimacy or
Hmm.
emotional labor. Always present on the phone because they're going through a rough time at the workplace. And so you're going to pick up the phone and go through 45 minutes of who at work is the enemy and the grand chess game being played in the office and what, who's the knight, who's the rook, who's the pawn. And I thought I was the queen. Now they tell me I'm the king. And then next week I'm the bishop. And you'll listen to all that 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they haven't taken one time in the last 5 days of you talking to them to ask how your day's going.
If
Won't
you
text
good,
you during the day to see how you're doing.
anything's okay with you. I actually
Won't
know somebody that happened to or happening to,
Mhm.
and they say, I'm trying not to gender code it, but he's just like, I don't really feel comfortable talking to my woman about what I go through because she's always going through something and she leans on me to be strong for her. I don't want to ever show up and not be that because I'm afraid she'll look at me differently.
The moment I get intimate with myself, then I'm gonna be judged, and that's real. A lot of people go through that. The moment that I talk about my intimate details of what I'm going through, I'm gonna be viewed a particular way because for some people, the spotlight's not on them.
They got to be the main star, the main attraction, huh?
Mhm, 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 and that's very, very real for many of us, and so this is what we want you guys to do. We're gonna ask a question. It's just for your reflection. What are you adding right now that hasn't been requested or reciprocated? What are you adding right now that hasn't been requested or reciprocated? We just gave an example. You've been picking up that phone 8 o'clock, 8:45 at night, and staying on the phone for 45 minutes while this person vents about the grand chess game, as I said it, of their workplace. 5 days straight, going into the weekends. You all meet up, and then it's still talking about it. Then you go into the next week, 2 weeks, and never once have they checked in on you, asked about your day, asked about your life,
Yeah. Make sure you good.
wanting to indulge in being reciprocal or grateful for who you are in their life and the labor that you provided. So, why do you keep showing up in this capacity for this person if you know or they've expressed, I would say, no in certain terms, right? By their actions, not necessarily by their words, that they're not interested in reciprocating. They're just interested in receiving. What's wrong with saying, hey, the last 2 weeks we spoke on the phone, and I've noticed I've listened to you about your work and your workplace and the machinations of the various players and groups at your office, yet you've never asked me about my day or talked to me about some of the issues that I surfaced that you know are going on for about a month now in my life. Do you feel uncomfortable having that conversation? Do you feel uncomfortable with that confrontation? Because confrontation doesn't mean you're going to scream. yell, belittle, berate. It means you're going to have a conversation and surface the issue and keep the main thing, as Jamie would say, the main
The
thing.
main thing.
So I'm going to ask it again. What are you adding right now that hasn't been requested or reciprocated?
I know a lot of y'all are adding some, I don't want to call them unnecessary explanations, but some of y'all are explaining who y'all are seeing and where y'all have been and how come I saw you on such and such on the gram, and not for nothing, but that's not really your business. I don't know
Mhm.
why I'm feeling the need to explain this to you or why you're feeling the need to ask me these questions, but like, yeah, some of y'all are definitely adding some things that haven't been or reciprocated. They haven't been requested or reciprocated. Like he
Absolutely.
talked about, that access is a big one.
Mhm. Some of us will
Somebody's,
go over people's houses at 2 in the morning and
I
we
was gonna
got
say,
work
eat
at
them
8.
out of a house and home, or yeah, use up all of their emotional empathy and emotional creativity.
Mhm. You going over someone's house at 2 a.m. because that's when it's convenient for them. You got to be at work at 8. You got to get your own Uber.
Yeah,
But didn't they ask you to come over? Didn't they ask you to show up for them? Or did you do it because you wanted to serve them and show them how down you are and how real you are? I'm not like the others. I'm a real one. You can know that I'm the kind of person who's going to ride for you.
ride or die.
And you're going to ride for them until they say, thank you for your services.
Hmm.
Thank you for your body. As Dr. Regina Langley would say, thank you for the opportunity to take my issues out on your body. And now I feel better about who I am. And I'm going to move on to the next
Right.
person I truly want to be with.
Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what we've done, Jay and I, as we start to kind of wrap up here, is really thought about ways that we want to be a part of the community and give to the community. And we created a free reading resource guide. It's a stop overgiving reading guide that's available for free. It's on our TikTok. You go to our TikTok at Save the Date Now, click on the Stand Store link, and you just go ahead and grab that free
Yeah.
guide. It has a list of books and an article. One of the books I'm familiar with, Your Perfect Right, which is based on assertiveness training. I love this book because it really spells out how you can start to be a little bit more confrontational. Confrontation is not a bad word. Confrontation is not a 4-letter word. Confrontation is required because you have to know how to surface conflict and address it appropriately while keeping your dignity and the other person's dignity intact. So you learn through assertiveness training how to start to break some of the cycles of overgiving, because sometimes we're recognizing the pattern of overgiving, but we don't know how to now break the pattern of overgiving. And
Yeah.
assertiveness training will help you with that, because some of us need to learn how to assert ourselves and say, here's my boundary, here's what I need. I'm willing to serve your needs, but it needs to be within a certain standard. And that's okay. It's okay to have standards. It's when we maliciously apply our standards and do it in a demanding and nasty way. But again, that's for people who have that issue. There's nothing wrong with your standards if you're willing to build with those standards. That's what the togetherness framework is about. It's about choosing, not proving. So we're providing this reading resource. Again, it's a guide rather, and it's free. And again, it's on the Stand Store TikTok. Check it out. Let us know what you think once you've gone through it. It's one page, so you're not going to be going through pages and pages of review. We just provide some links and some opportunities for you to familiarize yourself with resources that could be of benefit to you, could be of a benefit to you in your overgiving journey. And on that note,
On that note,
guys, this has been another episode of Save the Date. Thank you for listening. Check us out TikTok, Instagram, YouTube at Save the Date Now. And until next time, I'm Heath.
I'm Jamie.
Take care.